Yo, it's your man C. Scott. Welcome back to this week's episode of Coffee Grind. This week, we're continuing on the conversation we had with Michelle Poitier. Now, if y'all remember from last week, she's an author, an activist, an advocate, and an inspirational speaker, and has been recognized by the White House under the Obama administration. Now, this week, we're going to continue the conversation we're having about mental health and healing. We're going to talk about some of the things that you can do to heal. We're also going to be talking about why it's important to know yourself, and also why it's important sometimes to go outside of religion and church to get the help that you need with your mental health. Anyways, this is some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about this week. So as always, grab yourself a notepad, grab yourself a pen, get yourself some nice, wonderful coffee, and get ready for this week's episode, Coffee Grind.
The biggest thing that I want to instill and the biggest legacy that I want to leave is a legacy of love, a legacy of servanthood, and a legacy of we all have something to give. We all have something to provide. We all have something that, we were placed on this earth to do.
Yes.
And in spite of the obstacles, we can fulfill it as long as we're able to, know that we're not an island.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's huge, at least. It's one of the things that, I think the same thing with what you're saying that I had to learn over time is that, hey, you can ask for help, you can get help, you need help.
Yeah.
You can't do everything yourself. And you're not supposed to do everything
Exactly.
yourself.
And you got to trust somebody somewhere, sometime, somehow. Yeah.
Right. And like you said, the knowledge of, and then like I like the other thing you said is, to name, some of the stuff. That's one of the things we're coming up and talk about. Just you got to, once you start naming stuff and you start, like I said, acknowledging stuff, then you can start attacking.
Yeah.
And you can start going after, those things. But you got to acknowledge it.
But to get to the root of it, I had to acknowledge that I had a fear of rejection. I had a fear of abandonment. I had a fear of, even though I said that's what I wanted, but connecting, interpersonal relationships. I excelled in everything that I did professionally, but personally, you hit that wall, platonic, interpersonal or otherwise.
Right. Gotcha.
The Michelle that the world knows, but when you want to try to get to know Michelle,
those walls are
what?
like, bloop, 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 bloop. Like,
exactly.
How did that happen? Just that
Right. Like, who are you?
Right. It's like, you're not
where's the Michelle I know?
Exactly.
And so I want to help, I am helping women to be able to address those things and heal, truly heal.
Right.
And I don't want it to take them as long as it took me. Like, I'll be 48, in a couple of weeks.
Gotcha. Wow.
And it took me a long time to get to where I am, even though I still have your ways to go.
We all do.
But I want to impact our young women that have encountered that. And I want to impress upon the men to join arms with us and have a voice as well,
Right. I think that's key.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because here in Jacksonville, and I specifically target female veterans, because that's a large population that is walking wounded.
Yeah.
But it's an open secret because it's considered to be such a taboo in the military, the military sexual trauma.
Right.
We don't want to talk about that.
No. Yeah.
We have a lot of women that are staying in domestic violence situations, a lot of female veterans.
Right.
We have a lot of female veterans that are sleeping in cars with their children.
Wow.
And sleeping on the streets and bouncing from place to place.
Yeah.
Afraid to get the help that they need because, one, they don't want their children taken.
Right.
Two, they don't want to go into a mixed gender facility to get help because they're afraid for their children and for themselves. And so we need to address that. There's just not, and they need a safe environment.
And then on top of all that, and it's a part of it too, but they're dealing with you're dealing with PTSD too.
Exactly.
Along with all the
at varying levels.
And I know from even just domestic, any type of abuse, you could have PTSD just from that.
Exactly.
Along with the stuff that happens in the military, you have to go through just the normal military day-to-day life.
I've done a lot of workshops here locally talking about PTSD as it relates to mental wellness, because a lot of people have the mistaken belief that If you have PTSD, have you served in the armed forces?
Right.
It can happen to anybody, to
Right.
EMT, you know,
Yeah.
EMTs, policemen, anybody.
Any traumatic
Experience, a car accident, you know, anything.
Right. Yeah.
And so we just have to allow safe places and environments for people to be able to heal.
Yeah. It needs to be talked about more, I think, too.
Talked about in a non-judgmental environment.
That's the key point. Yeah.
And in a supportive environment.
Right.
Where you won't be labeled.
Right.
Yo,
We love to throw labels on people, don't we?
Yeah. Yo,
Especially here in America.
she or he has PTSD or
Right.
she has a mental health, you
Right.
know, issue.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're still people.
Yeah.
How many people are in your family are suffering from any one of those, and you don't talk about it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, you don't talk about it, or you know, the signs are there, but nobody's going to get it.
It's an open. It's the elephant in the room.
Yep. And it's hey, this needs to be taken. Right. Something needs to happen, but nobody's willing to do anything about it.
And so from that, from Healing Women, Healing Nations, we branched off and created Michelle Speaks.
Okay. Yep.
If you hide it, you can't heal it. No topic is taboo, because we really need to, as a society, not just talk about things. We need to provide solutions, but more importantly, we need to provide hope. Mm-hmm. You know, so unmasking the hurt,
right?
Unveiling the mask,
right? And I love, you know, you just posted the other day, and you talked about it earlier, but transparency.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that, you know, I think everybody needs work. I work on, but you know, there's certain things that you're just like, I don't want to, but it is what it is. You need to just show it.
Yeah.
And you can deal with it.
Now, I made a lot of people uncomfortable when I was transparent about the beginning of my abuse.
Gotcha.
My family.
Yeah.
Co-workers and friends.
Right.
I've lost some friends. There's some aspects of my family we don't communicate because they didn't want that aired.
Right.
But it's not about you. It's about me and my healing, and it's about me and my purpose.
Right.
Because the things that are being healed internally are going to affect those externally that are in my sphere of influence.
Right.
And they're either going to go with me or they're going to, you know, bow out.
Right.
So that I can fulfill my eternal purpose.
Yeah, you have to.
You know.
Yeah, you have to.
And help others know that they can, in spite of.
Right, and I was going to just ask you that, like, what would be like maybe like one of the biggest tips or advice you would give to somebody that has gone through something like similar, some type of abuse or PTSD to start the process?
To start the process,
the healing process.
I would say that the number one most important thing is to acknowledge that it happened.
Yep.
And don't suppress it, because if you do, it's going to come up in some way. It's going to manifest.
Yeah.
But to acknowledge that it happened, and give yourself permission to grieve.
There you go.
And give yourself permission to forgive yourself.
Right.
Because there was nothing that you did that caused that to happen to you.
Right.
It's not your fault.
Right. So acknowledge it and just give yourself that permission to grieve. And to go ahead and the other one that you said was to make sure that you forgive yourself, which is, I think, a huge one.
And then go get help.
Find help.
And I'm specifically targeting the African American community when I say this. It is okay to go seek professional counseling.
Right.
It is okay to go get help.
Right.
Even if you don't want anybody in your family to know, don't tell them.
Right.
But go get help.
Right. I mean, I think you have to. I mean, it's very important to talk to a professional.
Yeah.
Somebody that's dealt with that, and I think it's important to talk to a professional that is their specialty.
Exactly.
That deals with it on a regular basis.
Exactly.
And that can see the patterns and can help you with getting out of your ruts and patterns, and can actually, bring some value instead of just, And I'm gonna say this, and it might piss some people off, but it is what it is. We pastors are great, spiritual leaders are great, but there are unless they have training,
specialized training,
you need to find somebody that has training.
Exactly.
And if you're a very spiritual, religious person, maybe you could have those two marry together and tie in together. They're both important.
Our organization,
we
did our first event touching on that.
Right.
Mental illness in the Christian community.
Right.
And I partnered with a pastor, a local pastor, to do the event. And it was titled, After I Prayed, Now What?
Exactly.
You know, when prayer isn't enough.
Right.
Because what we need to stop doing, because a lot of pastors battle with, mental health challenges and are committing suicide because they're trying to hide.
Right.
You can't pastor, if you're having challenges yourself without getting help.
Right.
We need to stop demonizing people.
Yes.
We need to stop telling them that they don't have enough faith,
Right.
or they don't believe enough,
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Whatever the reason that they give them.
Yeah.
We need to provide an environment for them to be able to get the help they need, but still be spiritually fed, however they choose to be spiritually fed. So we targeted the Christian community. We're actually going to do our second annual event in May this year. But
awesome.
that was rough, and it helped. So many people came back and said how much that helped them.
Yeah, it helped them. I bet.
Yeah. So we just got to stop hiding.
That's it.
Because if you hide it, you can't heal it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And so that's why, my message, transparency, vulnerability, accountability, authenticity as an inspirational speaker. It's tough initially when I start speaking in an audience.
Yeah.
But as I continue to share and I provide the hope and the solutions, then it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Because then people really start letting down those masks, and they're like, I can't believe you look like you have it all together. I'm like, yeah, but I don't.
Right.
I'm a work in progress.
Right.
Because I'm getting the help that I need to get
Exactly.
to be able to continue
Exactly.
to heal.
Right.
And so you can't heal alone.
No.
And that's the thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this kind of to tie this all in together. Well, number one, like what's some of the next steps for you? What do you said you got the second annual one coming up in May?
Right. So our next event coming up is our second annual Learning to Love Me event. That's March 16th.
Okay, March. Okay.
Right. We haven't set a date in May for the mental health awareness event.
Okay.
But we're focusing more on expanding our platform for the Michelle Speaks, just to allow other organizations and individuals that are doing things in the community to talk about the taboo things that people don't want to talk about.
Gotcha.
As I was sharing with you before, we've touched on some topics all this year, last year, that were kind of hot and heavy. Homosexuality in the church hurt, male vulnerability, female manipulation, a day in the life of somebody with mental illness, educational disparities in the underserved communities. Those are just a few, but no topic is taboo, so that's what we need to do to heal. And so what we will be focusing on, me, myself, is traveling more, speaking internationally.
Awesome.
I'm a voiceover, artist, so
awesome.
Doing more things along those lines.
Gotcha.
Just continually doing things to create positive, long-lasting change in the community.
Gotcha.
Leaving a legacy for my daughter.
There you go.
Because we come from a long line of abuse, and so I just said that it was going to stop.
It's time to stop it. Yeah.
So her daughter, my granddaughter is 4, my grandson is 3.
Gotcha.
Over my dead body, are they going to encounter any kind of abuse? That's probably something I'd be willing to go to jail.
Right.
Right. I know we all say that, but I'm saying.
But no,
let me get a phone call.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm on a flight.
Right.
Where are they at? Where are we going?
Hey, we
are you locked and loaded?
We're gonna find them. Yeah.
Right.
A military trainer is gonna kick in.
Exactly. But I'm like that with anybody, not just my family. Anybody that I see, I feel that God has called me to be a voice for the voiceless, an advocate for those that the world has deemed either unworthy or unsalvageable. God says in His Word that He will use the foolish things to confound the wise. Well, I'll be that foolish thing. I know I'm that foolish thing. People tell me all the time, you're weird, you're different. You're eclectic. I'm like, okay, I'll be that.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, who wants to be normal, and what's the definition of normal anyway?
I was just going to say, that whenever somebody's like, what is normal?
Right.
Explain normal to me. You can't.
You're right.
Because there is no normal.
And not the dictionary definition.
No,
what is normal? What does it look like? Show me.
And show me 2.
Right.
Show me 2 of it.
Right.
Show me 2 of it.
Right.
And then we can talk.
Right.
You can't. Yeah.
Right.
But that's awesome.
Just like, what is your... Who can? Nobody can give me a definition of what success is, because success means different things to different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some people it's monetary. Some people, for me, it was successful that I got up out of this bed today.
Right.
know?
Right.
Right. So that's success to me.
Yeah.
If I've impacted one life, if I've changed one life, that's success.
Exactly.
I'm not into materialistic things and monetary things. I mean, yes, I want to live comfortably. I want to be able to consistently take care of my obligations.
Right.
But, people look at me, they're like, I've had people tell me, you're very high maintenance. I'm like, do you know me? For you to say that, then you don't know me.
Right.
Because I can look like this today, but I can be hanging off the side of a mountain tomorrow, with a ball cap and,
Right.
You don't know me. I love nature. I just feel like I'm at home in nature. And another thing, you asked me earlier, what can someone do?
Yeah.
Healing means different things for different people, and it takes different types of, some people can go to counseling and they'll be okay. Some people like group counseling and that helps them.
Yeah.
Some people, they need meds, but, for one person it may help, for another it may cause them to go into deeper depression.
Right, it doesn't.
So you have to find what works for you, and sometimes it takes you trying different things.
Right.
For me, myself, nature has a healing quality that, medicine cannot mimic.
Yeah.
I tried medicine, different types of medicine that they would have me on, and it made me worse. I spent sometimes days and weeks not getting out of bed, not showering, not answering phone calls. But it was the medication.
Right.
And so I had to find what worked for me. So I would encourage people, find what works for you and keep trying.
Right. And just try different things, because I know
exercise works for me.
To your point of the nature, but I think a change of scenery can do wonders for people. Be it that it's outside or just going to a different state or a different city sometimes. Yeah, absolutely.
And I've done that. I mean, I come from a military background. I'm retired military, but both my parents are retired military. So for me, if I'm in one spot too long, then I feel stagnant. I'm okay, I gotta move. Some people, they can be in one spot, they can be born and die, live and die in the same place. I can't do it. I already know,
Right.
That'll never be.
It's like, nope.
No, gotta be on the move.
Right.
And don't give your providers and your doctors so much power, because nobody knows your body like you do.
Exactly. That's a key one with just across the board too.
In anything, and be willing to advocate for yourself.
Right.
And be willing to be you unapologetically.
Right.
Not conforming to what somebody else's idea of what you should be doing or who you are. Be you.
And this is me, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what you see, what you get.
And this is what I see a lot. A lot of people that have encountered trauma or abuse become people pleasers. They're afraid to be who they are.
Yeah.
They're afraid to express themselves. They're afraid to even explore different things to find out what their likes and dislikes are, depending on the type of abuse or that they've encountered or the trauma.
Because and correct me if I'm wrong, but because if you please that person, then they're not going to explode on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a defense mechanism ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I'm a very what I've come to learn and embrace. I'm a very free spirit,
Okay.
I love music. I love encountering different cultures. I love interacting with people. But on the flip side of that, because of my challenges with PTSD, everything has a limit. When I've met my capacity, I'm out. You may look around and be like, okay, where's Michelle?
She's gone.
Yeah. So you just have to know yourself and know your limit.
And
be able to express that and not feel like you have to explain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was talking with a buddy of mine. There's actually a book. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy, and it talks a lot about the people pleasing and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of people, like, by the title of the name, you'd be like, oh, you're supposed to be an asshole. No, it's not that. It's just like a nice guy just does a lot of people pleasing and all that kind of stuff. And we were talking about that. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's okay to be some people say selfish, but it's to take care of yourself.
Well, it's frowned upon. I think especially I'm coming from the perspective of women, it's frowned upon for women to be selfish.
Yeah, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
So necessary.
Yeah.
And the biggest example that I love, and you've probably seen this meme out there, but it's like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Well, that is true. Yeah.
You know, so you have to take care of yourself first.
Exactly.
To be able to nurture, give, or whatever to other people. But yeah.
You got to be replenished.
Yeah. And take that time to replenish. And it's funny because that's one of the things. And like I said, like we were saying earlier, anything that I say or do, I'm talking to myself first.
From experience, right?
Yeah, and I'm talking to myself first to even remind myself, hey, buddy, you need to do that too. But it's one of the things that with most people when I'm coaching, I tell them, I'm like, hey, you need to take an hour a week for time to do something you love, do something for yourself. But yeah, I think that ties all back in there.
When you're coaching, and I'm sure you've asked them, like, what do you love to do?
Right.
Do you find that a lot of your clients aren't able to tell you?
Some people, yeah, it takes them a little bit of time to come up with it. But then I work them through an exercise. Yeah. I'm like, one of the greatest exercises that I like to do is I tell them, hey, okay, you won the lottery, it's $1 million. A lot of people don't get they don't care about $1 million lotteries anymore.
Right,
so I gotta be like $10 million lottery, the mega ball, Powerball, the woo ball, whatever. You won that, you got it. The only thing you have to do is you have to do something every day. But to get your check, you have to do something every week. Right. And a lot of times when you ask questions like that, you take them through, that little story or what have you. They come up with. It's like you can do anything. Yeah. You can do anything. It could be basket weaving. And when you throw it in that, it comes to the surface pretty fast. Yeah. But at first, I think a lot of people don't know. They don't know because especially if they're a people pleaser. Yeah. Because their identity is so tied into pleasing somebody else, and it's whoever they're with, literally at that minute, that second.
I lived that. I lived that, especially when I was married. Yeah. 20 years. Yeah. Yeah, I did. But
that's easy to go into.
It's so easy to lose your identity. Yes. Because you want to please those that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to happen. It easily happens.
But the true love begins with loving yourself, you know. And if you've had any kind of trauma, especially from a young age, you don't. You think you do, but you don't. You don't know how to love yourself.
You really don't.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. And
and
it takes some time to figure that out.
So now I have this. Well, I've always had this alter ego, but when people push my buttons, now I'm like, look.
Got the look.
Just because I'm meek, don't take my meekness for weakness. I said,
Right.
Who do you want to speak to next? Do you want to continue speaking to Michelle? Or do you want to meet Mickey?
Oh, wow. Oh,
Mickey,
Lord.
M-I-K-K-I, Mickey.
Oh, Lord. I don't think nobody want to meet Mickey.
What?
Oh, no.
But we need.
But you have to.
Yeah, but everybody has that side. It's just a lot of people suppress it.
Yeah. But even the people that don't think they have that side, they have it. But it just might not come up in a little while. But no, it's there.
Yeah,
it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. We done went on the whole different route with that. But
right.
But no, that's that's definitely awesome, and I think.
Yeah,
but I agree. Take time for yourself.
Yeah. I'm just passionate about living life to the fullest, whatever that means. Right. Empowering people to live their best life, whatever that means for them. You know that song, I'm living my best life. So,
they churchified it. I just saw a video of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
There's a church. I'll send it to you. There's a church version of it.
Really? Okay.
I might even link it up with there's a church version of it now. And it's like, ain't going back and forth with you sinners. That's what it said. I saw that. I was like, okay. This is what we're doing now.
Right. Wow.
But no, I
gotta see that.
They churchified it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's churchified.
Well, I'm not a big proponent of church. I love the Lord. I have a relationship with Him. I know that I'm fulfilling His purpose. Right. I have a problem with the way church has made it their own. Has become their own doctrines of men.
Yeah.
And I might offend offend some people, but so what? Do I offend you if I tell you the truth? You know?
I mean, yeah.
I don't. The church has damaged a lot of people, and it is damaging a lot of people.
Yes. I agree with that.
And
sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
But
not
no.
apologizing,
No.
you know, because I love the Lord. You know, I have a relationship with Him.
Right,
I
but
know
no, you're
him,
absolutely right. The church is damaging.
It's damaging a lot of people. It's damaging relationships,
Yeah.
even though we're supposed to be building relationships. Honestly, if we want to get technical, we are the church. I can't even pronounce the word. The called out ones. Yeah, that word.
Yep.
We are the church.
Right.
And so we need to truly be the church and stop judging people and condemning people and, you know.
Right.
I just, yeah.
No,
I'm gonna leave that right there. I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. Then I think we can leave it there and pick that up on a whole other topic.
Right,
but no,
right.
No, but you're absolutely right. I mean, and then a lot of things need to change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I only say that because a lot of people look to the church as like the pillar in the community.
Yeah.
They look to that as a source and a place of safety and healing.
Right.
And I'm not saying all churches are like that.
Right.
But if you're new and you're just coming into a revelation and a knowledge of the Lord, and you get into a place that's very damaging and dysfunctional,
it can. Yeah.
It'll destroy you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so
There's just some things.
I don't know why I took that turn like that, right there like that, but
but you know what though, somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I took that turn, because somebody needed to hear it.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, and it's like we talked about earlier, there are professionals out here for a reason.
Yeah.
For certain things, and it should not be looked down or frowned upon. You know, if you want to go outside of the church, and you know, you can still have your spiritual side.
Yeah.
You can still be spiritual. You can still be religious, and just in general, it needs to be. Let's not demonize it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, but I agree. A lot of damage, a lot of good or damage can be done in the church.
Yeah. Not could, can.
I would say it's going to be one of the two.
Right.
So you're right.
Right.
It's not a could, but it's definitely going to be one of the two. It's either going to be damaging or healing.
Right, exactly.
And so choose wisely when you choose a church.
Well,
choose wisely.
Choose wisely in anything that you do in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, and wisdom comes. One of the things that I think that we've gotten away from as a generation and as a society is listening to and talking to and taking heed and listening to our elders, the older generations.
Yep.
They've lived longer, they've seen more things.
Right.
We don't communicate anymore, really, other than superficial conversation.
Right.
We don't communicate. We've got more technology than we've ever had. And we have more people that are committing suicide, that are lonely, than we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because people have lost the art of communicating face to face. I sit and I watch when I go out, and I watch families have an entire meal. And you know where they are? They're in their phones.
Yeah.
There's no interaction, there's no talking, they're in their phones. I see people at home. I was at one of my friends' houses when I lived in Virginia, and we were just laughing, kikiing, just interacting. And their children were in the other room, so they called their oldest child. They texted him, and they came in the room, and then they asked him to do something. And I'm like, why did you text them to ask them to do that?
Right.
Why didn't you just call out to them?
Right.
I'm like, do you guys communicate like that on a regular basis? And they were like, yeah. There is no connection. Like, you know, you can be very sensitive to other people, especially if you've been with them, around them a while, and you know them. We're losing that sensitivity. You know, we're losing that empathy. We're losing that compassion because we've become so desensitized by technology. And, you know, though social media is good, though technology is good, we need to be more balanced with it.
Well, yeah, there's goods and there's
Yeah.
and there's there's good and bad with it, because I think obviously definitely with social media, it's you're getting some communication from a wider, so you're able to contact with people that you weren't able to, keep in contact. I mean,
but
back in the day, you had to
private
write
anymore.
letters and all that kind of stuff, and it took forever. But no, absolutely nothing's private anymore. But I think that's been gone for a long time now, even
but
before
some of the
social
things
media.
that I see people posting, all I can think about when I look at it is like, look at me.
Yeah.
And they're doing that because they're lonely.
Well, yeah. And it goes back to a lot of those people need to heal, because they're trying to be like, hey, love me, see me, feel me, whatever. But if you really get to become good with yourself and you take that time out for yourself, you don't do that as much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't.
But you have to know yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Exactly. And that's it. All goes back to heal. Everybody, I believe, everybody has something that they need to heal, and that's the heal.
We all struggle with something. We're all battling. We're either just going into a battle, in the middle of a battle, or coming out of a battle, or struggle, however you want to classify it.
Right.
And we will continue to do that until we go meet our maker.
Right.
We will have challenges, but how we deal with those challenges,
that's it.
we need to deal with it as a community.
Right. Right.
Families truly need to become families again. And I'm guilty of that too, as far as I could have a better relationship with different people in my family.
Gotcha.
But it's something that I'm working on.
Yeah. But I think but to your point, I do think that a lot of that paradigm is changing though. I really do, because some of the stuff that I've heard and read about is kind of that younger generation. And I wouldn't say, I don't know if we want to call it, I don't want to put labels on them, but I would say that, maybe that like 15 to 20 generation or whatever, that they're all about, maybe up to 25, but they're all about experience. So they're more concerned with experiences and that type of stuff. And that's the connection right there. Having an experience. You might want to record it while you're having an experience, but they're having those experiences with the people that they love. And so I think it's changing. It's
slowly
cyclical.
shifting.
So I think we're shifting back to it, but yeah, I agree. I think that with everything, it's good and bad. But yeah, technology, has taken, like you said, it's giving communication, but it's taking the connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's good right there.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes
I like that. Huh.
I do.
I like that.
I have some good stuff, but no, it has. I mean, because you can communicate with just a little bit of anybody. And what was a big thing that I got it, like the communication part of it, was back in the day I used to watch WWE with my dad, and or it was WWF back in the day. But anyway, and so maybe 3 years ago, I watched WrestleMania, and this dude fell asleep. God bless him. Sorry, Dad. He fell asleep, and so I hadn't used Twitter in forever, so I started using Twitter, and it was like a global conversation about what was happening at the time, and I was like, okay, now I understand Twitter. This is what it's about. But it's great with the communication, but again, it's the connection. The connection is gone.
And honestly, I get information overload sometimes, because you've got so many platforms. You've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook. Before Facebook, there was MySpace. There's LinkedIn for the professional connections, and then there's just ever evolving. You can never keep up.
Right.
But I love, face-to-face interaction. I love being able to, if I'm communicating with you, I want to see your body language. I want to see your facial expressions. I want to look at your eyes. We've lost that, but it's slowly coming back.
Like I said, I think.
And I don't want that with everybody.
Right.
Let me just preface that right there.
Some people just like, okay, let's just communicate through text.
Right.
But no, but yeah, I think it's coming back. I think with. It's like, but I think it's just cycles. It's cyclical that way. But yeah, I think it's coming
Even
back.
in texting, my daughter will send me a whole page sometimes, and I'm like,
you could have just
call me.
Right.
I'll text too. Call me. If you can't call me when you get off.
Right.
Because I'm not going to respond.
And then, you know, some things get lost in text.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Context,
Yeah.
you know, people can misinterpret
Unless you know the person
things.
well, even if you know the person well,
Yeah,
sometimes
it can still be taken wrong.
It'll be
Yeah,
taken the wrong
yeah.
way, exactly.
We did an event last year, and this is not one that I will be doing again.
Oh, okay.
It's relationships, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was our first mixed gender event.
Okay.
And we talked about the 3 P's in relationships: patterns, perceptions, and performance. And we
Okay.
kind of like acted it out and things like that. And it was so enriching for the couples that were there and some of the people that were there. And I'm like, wow, wow. Because a lot of times, you know, relationships that could have been sustained, they're just not because of misperceptions and, you know, patterns, perception, and performance. We need to learn how to effectively communicate with one another, period.
Right. Yeah.
And not be in our feelings.
Yeah, but true communication too.
Yeah.
Not just
Effective.
I'm not just gonna listen to hear that one little piece to say my point or whatever. You know?
Don't listen to respond, but listen to understand.
Listen, exactly.
Yeah.
And to see where somebody's coming from, and see why they think that way.
Yeah.
And ask those clarifying questions.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, look here. We got to do this again. Because I really feel like there's other areas that we hadn't even touched on that we can go into.
Right.
But we'll definitely do this again. But before we shut this down, though, I'm going to link it below. But where's like some of the best places for people to find you at online?
Online, MichellePoitier.com. So MichellePoitier.com.
Okay.
My Facebook page is Facebook.com. Or for Healing Women, it's HWHNFL46. For the Michelle Speaks, it's MICHELLE.
Gotcha.
SPEAKZ47.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'll have that all linked below, but definitely. So you probably can go to the website and quickly get
That's
to
the
you
best
from
way
there.
to find me, or email me, michellespeaks@gmail.com.
Gotcha.
Speaks
Easy
with
one
a
there.
Z.
With the Z.
Yeah.
But thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
It.
I really enjoyed it.
We're
I
gonna
love
have
the
to-
dialogue.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do this.
What is it
again
called?
and just-
Coffee?
Coffee grind.
Coffee grind. Thank you for
So
the coffee.
definitely. Hey, appreciate it.
Until next time.
And that's all I got for you today. Leave your comments below, like, share, subscribe. I love you. Namaste, baby.
Namaste.